Okay, welcome back. We finished off last time with the Elf King's second attempt, and he had this kind of playful melody, but almost trying to be a bit more impressive with just a bit more virtuosity. Clearly outlining the dominant there, which is quite cool. Great way to end the melody, and he's changing keys a bit more. He's promising more things to the kid, and we looked through all of that stuff, which is quite cool. Let's just have a quick look at the melody, because this will give us a good sense of everything else. We've heard this before. And what have we heard it before? Correct. I'll enlarge this just for the moment so we can see. We heard this after his first attempt. We heard if we look at the first note to B, the last note to B, and then we look at this one. Now we've got a key change. It's a C sharp. When we first saw the Elf King, we started in G. And the second time, then the Sun responded with this kind of B-ish E minor melody. And then the second time we saw the Elf King, he's in A. He's changed a little bit. Oh no, it wasn't that pattern, there was more of that. Had that different pattern. And the Sun also changes. This is really interesting because as the Elf King's gone up, the Sun's gone up, almost to try and get away from him. So we're in F sharp minor here. We can see that kind of in the mi fa, if that's me, F sharp, but we've also got these, something we've seen the whole time is the dominant in that triplet pattern in the right hand, and we've got this once again a dominant chord spelt out. Let me get my right notes. Yep, that would be D, Re, T, C, Mi, C, T, Re. Dominant seventh chord to the minor. Once again, just another 5 movement. It's the 5 of the 6, because we just came from A major. We're not actually changing keys, we are just mucking around in it a little bit. So we get that again, and I love this dominant pattern. It sounds so sinister. Over that. And once again, over that, we get that flat 9 chord. If we look at a, this is a C dominant 7, or here it says a D flat 7. And we get that D natural, which above the C is that flat 9, and that has all the tension in the world. And then we resolve. And then we get a similar motion, the 1, the 5, the 1, 5 of 2, then a 2, 5, 1 in our new key of A sharp minor. We can tell that we've got an A sharp in the bass. Then we've got 2 C sharps, so that's how it says B flat. It's a really neat way of keeping the same C sharp in the triplets but changing the root note. And then we have this D sharp, which is the 2. It looks like we're changing key again. We've got a D sharp. We've got an E sharp, lots of sharps in this one. slow this. It's just quite a few sharps. I want to get this right. See, I got it wrong. There we go. It's a G double sharp. Goes down a fifth. And then the father finally comes back and says something after this elf king has been trying to kidnap his child. He answers in the minor key like he normally does. We get this. Let me just check. This E sharp. Mi, fa, fa. It changes key immediately. Fa, mi, fi, la. So we go up a minor second. So the father maybe has now realized something's wrong. We've gone from A sharp or B flat minor, and we've just modulated up. Once again, the modulation is just a 5-1. We've got this in this bar here. We've got two A sharp, sorry. And then he builds a chord from that. So we've got A sharp, F sharp, an F7 chord, and then we resolve to the B minor chord. Oops, sorry. And so this is even more sensitive right now. The father doesn't try to turn it into a major, which is really cool, narratively speaking. We get this. Fa, re, ti, fa, mi, mi. 1, 6, 4, 5 again. Here into the dominant minor key. We finally made it to our normal classical style of the dominant minor. Remember, we started in E, the dominant's the fifth above, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B minor is the dominant minor. And he finishes on the La. It's the first time the father has actually realized something's wrong. And then we hear this. The same starting motive, but in the dominant. We get nothing in the melody, and then we get a really sinister thing from the Elf King. Let's go on here. The Elf King has now gone from, let's see if we have the key here, he's gone from A major, that was the last time we saw him, and now he's in this C major key. C major is normally associated with pureness and brightness, just because it's all the white notes. We get C major. And then we start to modulate, you can hear it in the melody. He ends up in the father's minor key, that dominant minor. He tried to go to C major to hide himself. He's saying, here, I love you, everything's going to be okay, but if you do not come with me willingly, I'll take you by force. We finish in that. Let's have a quick look at the harmony here. We've got C major, and then we stay with a C bass note. Let's just put this into thirds. Let's put that down. So that looks like thirds. Let's spell it out. We have a B, a D, an F, and A flat. A B diminished, so a B whole fully diminished. It's just C going to its seventh of itself. And we've seen that before, just as a device to keep the music going along. Then we get the 7 of 7. Let's just double check this. We've got C in the bass. Maybe I could even write that. I think I've made a mistake there. But then we go 7 of 7, 7 of the 5 in B minor, so 7 of the 5. And we get to the 5. And then he finally finishes, showing his true nature. I will use force. Now the sun really starts to freak out here, and what's interesting is how much the sun freaks out by, and we can see that by how far he moved up. First time we saw the sun, he was in E minor or G major. Then he went to A major, sorry. Here we have him in G minor or B flat major. So he's gone up again, now a minor second. So we've gone from G to A to B flat. The Elf King also started in G to A, and then he jumped up to C. The sun was always trying to outrun him, and in this case, he hasn't been able to, because the Elf King has modulated up to C, and then even his when he's shown himself for who he is, he's modulated down to B minor, where the sun is trapped underneath him in this B major or G minor key. More or less, the Elf King was able to have more of a range than the sun. Oh, and last interesting thing, this last time we see the Elf King, the accompaniment pattern doesn't change at all. He's given up trying to fool him. He knows what he's saying. He's just promising him things, and then he's saying if it doesn't happen, it's going to happen by force. We get the same flat 9 chord. We get the same. We still get that awesome tonality there. He freaks out. We get the same thing. We've got 2 pages left, and then we finally end up in our home key, but we'll look at that in another time in our last section. Alright, good luck.